Chapter 26. It was cold night that beautiful. The moon is full, the stars themselves also fully revealed, they all make the dark sky that's supposed to be chilling into beautiful scenery. The wind that breathes around the field itself is not strong, yet also not weak, it was perfect. Gentle, tender, almost like caressing of lover. So this is how it looks from close range. A single figure stood in middle of green that shadowed by the gigantic size of Flugil's tree that stood almost like a mountain among them. The gentle wind of night waved their tattered cloak that completely hide their figure save for their feet that left bare naked without any single thing that cover them. The person dark blue eyes narrowed at the gigantic tree that planted by the legendary sage for a moment, then they shift their gaze to the whole field around her, to certain area that looks scorched and burned to be precise. It power really very destructive just like I saw from far. To be honest, destructive was still second-rated word to compare what they currently see. There once exist mountain and forest where their eyes directed to, there once exist field of green that blessed and heaven to herbivore animal that live around it. They are no longer there. What they currently see. It was best to be described as something that's similar to act of God. It as if God decided to come down and carve the very land itself in rough manner and then burn it using some kind of holy flame. Despite it has been 2 days ever since it fired, the blackened ground did not show any sign of recovering at all, the temperature also slightly above the other area. The forest that was like a sea of green if looked from above now more like a red sea that split under Moses' command. The once immovable and solid mountain that reached 1,000 meters reduced into nothing but debris and rubble. So this is the full power of the second generation. They must admit it was terrifying and yet also imposing at same time. While such feat is not impossible to be replicated and they also able to do it, but knowing that the result of this destruction is come from single attack is clearly exceptional. With this kind of power, no wonder those who saw it directly herald him as God or some kind of divine existence. They sure that this level of attack would be enough to bring down even the dragon, and if it directed to below, to the island, then there will be new lake on this continent. The person approached the blackened field with slow and elegance, they lower their legs when they arrive and touch the earth, rubbing it slowly as if judging the result directly with their touch. Then they stood and walked to the field that adorned by crimson. It was area where one of the 3 great demon beast fall, the field where when the beast head exploded blood and flesh raining down to it. The hooded figure closed their blue eyes and began to concentrating, seems trying to find something through their sense. Nothing. They found nothing. Whatever they searched for they obviously did not find it, judging by their blue eyes that reopened and reflecting strange emotion. It is gone. It is really gone. Nothing of it remain. So that wench prediction come true. The wench word was spoken with a disdain, obviously this person found it to be repulsing that the one they spoke of has made right prediction. Nonetheless, that doesn't matter much since the result is like what they expected, it mean the experiment is success. They don't know how to felt about that. On one hand it mean right now they are one step closer from reaching their goals after 5 centuries, but on another hand this also will affect them greatly. Not to mention while the experiment is success, but what come out during it is something that even surpassed beyond their expectation, it was something that uncontrollable and shocking as well. And yet, that sword and it wielder will be no. That man existence itself already bring trouble. But it is not like they have much choice, that man and the other's existence is necessary after all. As they stood and stare at the distance, the area where everything is clear due to the light of the holy sword that's soaring forward, they can't help but feeling annoyance flickering inside them at their current predicament. In the end, even if they succeed, the problem still won't end. There will be consequence and also risk for their action and their opponent, also some being that highly dangerous as much as the witch. They going to need new piece to able survive after their climax battle. And while they already made their move to secure that man's favor, perhaps it would be best to search for extra one as well. Well, it not like they out of option, there's still few that they can take, and they sure they will get them as long as they careful. Now. Time to find out what the consequence of their act by guiding that thing to him. Rem's confession, to be honest, was not unexpected. It was very clear that the Oni hold quite amount of affection for him after all. Truthfully, Erin doesn't know why she has yet to confess her feeling for him, perhaps she was too shy, however her bold and forward words clearly contradicting that idea. Maybe it was something else. What is it, Erin doesn't know, but whatever it was, Excalibur's light clearly banished that hesitation. He doesn't know either that good thing or not. What made him surprised is that she do that tonight, not end in there she also did it in front of Emilia. If the reason why she hesitate to confess in first place is confusing, then this one clearly made that look like candle in front of fire camp. What the purpose of Rem declaring her feeling in front of Emilia? Make her jealous? Highly possible, giving Rem's personality. Even if she not looks like it, but Rem is selfish person, proved by how she willing to leave Rem in What If story. After all, the only reason she rejects Subaru's offer at that time is because Rem knew if she accept him then he won't be the Subaru that she respect and love. However, if Subaru ask her genuinely, then it was for sure that she will leave. However, Eren doubt it was simply for jealousy. No, it would be had it under normal circumstance, but Rem's act is based on what she saw in that light. If that was the matter that made Rem hesitate in first place, then there is no need to caught glimpse of Excalibur to make such decision. So yes, he utterly confused be the girl act. And their kiss, can't forget their kiss. Truly Eren very tempted to bash his head to the wall after recalling what he had done. He rejected Rem. Rejected Rem. Rem the number one hashtag waifu in Re:0. Just remembering that scene make him completely balk. He was one of fans that support Rem Subaru pairing after all, however he not that fanatic, he don't dislike Emiliac Subaru pairing, he support Rem because of a moment, that's all. It because that the anime who show Rem characteristic and personality, because the story focused to Rem and Subaru instead of Emilia. Obviously because it's still season 1, and he also think that people too biased about the half-elf, they has yet to see how Emilia would be in Arc 4 and 5 after all, they only see Rem and so they make hasty decision. People believe in what they see. And the anime clearly doing very bad job portraying Emilia, she is as good as minor character in there and her personality barely shown other than she is airhead and completely oblivious, that was reasonable giving her mentality real age. Back to the track, but even knowing so it doesn't change he has reject Rem. Gods have mercy on him, when he back home, his eccentric friends will bash his head with cake or their beloved made figurine for sure. Not to mention he was tempted to bash his head once more. It was Rem. The lovely demoness maid. Enough said. Still. He managed to steel himself and remain consistent. He was flattered, really, happy even, and let's be honest here, who wouldn't, that someone as beautiful and wonderful like Rem fall in love with him, but after all it would only hurt both of them in the end, he not plan to staying in this world after all. It would be fun perhaps to bring Rem if he could, however he highly doubt such thing could happen. Let's just say there a way to bring him home, what if it only work for one person? If he enter relationship with Rem that mean he won't be able to go home, no more like he sure he wouldn't go home when that happen. Because he can see that his resolve will crumble after spending times with Rem. And he don't want that to happen. Another thing was something that also troubling him. He don't have chance to worry about it since he was focused to Hakugiai, Cthulhu, and also just got awakened, however now that he have it, he started to think that very important. This world. If the prophecy that different, it foretold of his coming after all, already not enough clue then the appearance of Cthulhu and Prelatai's spellbook should be more than convincing, it was not every day you see some kind of giant abomination that able to mind rape people rampaging around after all. He is not in Re:0. Or at least not in the canon universe. The fact their artifact, no, a noble phantasm that belong from type moon world in here, one that powerful and very dangerous. That thing nearly destroy the world, no, it had, Eren sure of that, in his previous loop he sure Cthulhu already turned the world into dead land after his death. And that realization disturbed him more than anything. Giving his luck, which already shown until now how bad it is, he's sure that Prelatai's spellbook is not the only thing that somehow landed in this universe, no matter how he wished for that, but he sure as hell that was as possible as asking Roswell to stop loving Echidna. And that also send cold chill to his spine. What else that waiting for him future then? Is it going to be like Prelatai's spellbook again? Great gods, he hope not, that was already very bad, if there's something similar like that in future then. Eren decide that he don't want to think about that now, as much as important and urgency it is, but he was too damn tired and so he decide to go to his bed and sleep, let him have rest for a moment and tomorrow he will think more about it. But apparently the world decide to not let him have peaceful rest. Literally. It was so sudden. One moment he was sleep then he feel like something flow to his body, it jolt him like adrenaline, banishing all his sleepy sensation in his brain, making him fresh as if he was awake the whole time, and then following it is his instinct that told him something watching him. He waste no time to follow his instinct, if there's something that he learn about it is never dismissing it. Then he come to face with familiar being. Her full form is transparent, not solid, like a projection. Her entire body color was blue, like color of the sea itself. Her hair that long and reached to her back flawlessly was green, green that belonged to forest. Her eyes, there no eyes in there, it almost like two pair of dirt from the ground molded into shape of circle and placed in there. And she also stark naked just like how he remembered. Gods damn it, what with beautiful and attractive girl with their modesty. Granted, giving what she is, there no way she care in slightest about concept of nudity. Gaia? Well, I don't know what is that supposed to mean, but your assumption is correct, I am the will of the world. Her voice was mixture of multiple sounds. From children, boy, girl, to adult and old one. Albeit the dominant one was female, but there's still touch of masculine in there. Gaia is the name of deity that represent over the world, a manifestation of the earth in a way. That was what we called her. Aaron explained plainly. Manifestation of the earth? Her voices vibrated around the room, her head tilted slightly as if in thoughtful manner. Where I come from, Earth is what we called our planet, our world. Aaron explained again. The goddess head tilted back to straight, her face has no expression but the pseudo-saber can tell it making thoughtful emotion now. You call your world dirt? How uncreative. Aaron forced to agree with that, calling their planet Earth is not quite creative. Granted their deep meaning of it, perhaps because Earth represents solid ground, place that they uses to but. Well, things already happen, no use crying over spilled milk. What would you call this world? He blinked at the sudden question, his eyes narrowed slightly. What would he call? To be honest, he also don't have any idea. However, he recalled that the language used in this world is basically Greek, then he tried to put the word together. Cosmos. He said, in this place language, cosmos mean world. The will of the world was silent after hearing that, as always her face showed nothing, and this time even Aaron found he can't read her. Cosmos. I like it. And Gaia too. She rolled the words in her tongue, despite her lips is not moving, but Aaron sure the being in front of him making that expression, and she also sounds quite pleased. Very well then, from now on, this world shall known as Cosmos, and also I shall be known to everyone as Gaia, the will of Cosmos. After saying that, the being figure began to glow with light that's so bright, forcing Aaron to close his eyes unless he wished to be blinded. The light keep goes on straight for almost half minute, and when it died the pseudo-saber reopened his eyes again. What was that? He asked. Nothing, I just correcting something that wrong. Aaron narrowed his eyebrow in suspicion, there is no way it as simple as that, and he very tempted to point it out to her, however he refrained to do so and focused to the most important thing. I don't know why you come, but since you already here, can I ask you few question? The recently named goddess, Gaia, shift her body slightly as a gesture. You have killed monster that equal to God and saved the world, of course I won't mind to answer your question. Aaron take deep breath, that's it. That was quite easy. He was expecting there could be some kind of requirement or deal for each answer, but then again, given what he have done. You obviously know I'm not from here. Aaron said in matter-of-fact voice, how do I get back? I can't answer that. The goddess' answer was quick and straight to the point, her voice also without tone. Wah. Aaron put taken back expression at the refusal, what do you mean by you can't answer that? Because I don't want you to leave. Aaron's breath hitched for a second, you don't want me to leave? He repeated in dumbfounded voice, why? You have that sword with you. I don't want it to gone. Of course. Of fucking course, it was Excalibur what she want, and giving what she is and the sword real nature, Aaron not surprised in slightest. Then I will. He paused, a very unpleasant feeling started to gnawing inside his stomach. He felt that part of him seems gone for a moment and it almost made him choke. However he keep forward, pushing the uneasiness, this is important matter after all, I will give it to you if you tell me how I can go home. Aaron offered. After saying that, for some reason the feeling become intensified, it like there hundreds of bugs crawling around his skin, it was utterly unpleasant, and also the idea of parted with the holy sword somehow bring pain to his heart. Something that very unusual since that sword is actually not that special for him. Sure he like Excalibur but it just a sword. He have no use of Excalibur in real world, it will only attract problem in the end. And yet, I afraid I cannot accept that offer. You are necessary to keep others from rampaging too much after all. Aaron feel his brain momentarily shut down at the answer, it take few seconds for him to comprehend what she just said, and when it did, the obvious question come out from him. What? I will start from the beginning then, from 500 years ago, before everything started, make yourself comfortable as you can. Aaron Wilson. Aaron Wilson. Something inside him stirred after hearing that full name. It truly been a while he heard someone call him by his real name and he can't help but feel elated somehow. He did as she said, taking one deep breath and mentally bracing himself. He need to be ready, forget everything for now. What stand before him now is the answer for everything. He faced the world herself right now, the witches of sin, their existence regarded as calamity that walking by others. They were being that unnatural, able to affect cosmos just by existing, their power itself is something that no one ever seen and uncommon. And all of that statement was right, they were not something that come from cosmos or land beyond great waterfall after all. Aaron's eyebrow furrowed at that statement. Cosmos is what this world called now, and the witches did not come from there nor land beyond great waterfall. That left only one thing, and his face confronted to shock expression when he come to that conclusion. They were alien. He blurted in utter shock. Alien? Something that come outside the world, from the space to be precise. He explained absent-mindedly. If that what it mean then yes, you are correct Aaron Wilson, the witches come not from cosmos or the land beyond but from space, the star. That confirmation blow the hell out of his mind. Alien, a motherfucking alien. The witches. Their power come from outer space, they are a type, an extraterrestrial. And usually extraterrestrial bring nothing but problem. Save for Superman of course, and other superheroes that come from space, but even so they usually also bring problem that equally troublesome. Fuck, I don't know how type working in here, but if it's similar like in Naciverse then. That would be the worst. Alien in Naciverse is very dangerous, they won't be able to die since they don't have concept of death, they're completely being that on different level. Wait. Is that why the power of witches still exists until now? Aaron inwardly asked with wide eyes. Could it be that the witch's power quite similar like Alien from Naciverse? If you recall the power is actually come from something that called the witch gene and it can be inherited by those who compatible with them somehow. They come to here 500 years ago, they were totally unknown to us. The mortal take them and tried to study them. Naturally, it react in violent way to those who not compatible for them, killing the host in gruesome manner and also destroy everything that's around them. After that we decide that they were too dangerous for mortal and so we send those powers away. We want to study them but we meet the same result with the mortal, nothing, they do not react to us and we cannot influence them. It as if they don't accept us, but we still manage to find out that in reality those power is not conscious, they do not have mind, however they do have a degree of sentient. Not big enough to call them individual, more like creature that have single emotion or something like that. We were discussing what we should do to them after we separate those power when someday a mortal happened to stumble upon it and somehow become compatible with those power. And that person become the first known witch who even have mind that beyond mortal and also able to reach something that even rivaling our deed through her own genius. The Witch of Greed, Echidna. Aaron intake of breath become sharp, his eyes widen, image of long white-haired woman with butterfly hairpin on her hair appear in his mind the moment he heard that name. Echidna. He muttered the name aloud unconsciously. Mind that surpassing mortal and able to reach of something that rivaling gods. That was very huge praise and claim, however Aaron then remembered that Echidna capable to create books that connected to something that's similar like Root, a book that able to answer everything and also show the past of something completely no matter what. The Book of Wisdom, after Echidna come we become quite curious and interesting. Something that we cannot done yet one mortal managed to accomplish it, and so we decide to see how things goes, we unseal those power and let them to the world once more, and it like we predict, one by one the witches started to appear, they began to show powers that unbounded and worked in phenomenal way, and we observed them one by one. From the Witch of Wrath's power that heal but destroy at same time to Sloth who's so powerful to the point able to push back Volcanica the great dragon. Then the goddess paused. She did not finish despite her tone entirely monotone so it can't be no does she finish or not, however Aaron somehow have impression that she stopped there deliberately. That should be our clue to seal that power and never let it resurface anymore. For the first time since they start talking there a tone in the goddess voice, a grim realization. Aaron have a guess already what made the goddess spoke with such tone in first place, however that still not stop her from speaking aloud somehow. What happened? The goddess stare at him, those blank and hollow eyes that look like rock peering over him and he felt her gaze focus to his eyes despite it not visible. Satella happened. The Witch of Envy power was very devastating, after consuming the others one by one she became strong enough to face against gods. What made it so problematic to us is her unnatural and uncommon nature, we cannot kill her no matter what and in the end it take great deal to weaken her, however we still cannot kill her, she was that powerful after all, she already very strong. And only by sealing her we able to stop her from rampaging around the world, but even so her power still leaking through. That was sign just how devastating she is. And now something that's similar happened once again, history repeated itself. A powers that come from the star has landed to Cosmos once more. And I don't wish for it to walk on the same path as the last one. As she finished her tale, Eren suddenly feel chill to his body, his instinct screaming at him, yelling that he was in great danger, demanding for him to move and flee. Despite there nothing that endanger him visibly, but for some reason right now he felt he was very close to death. And it only take him less than second to realize it come from the being in front of him. She made no movement and not show of any slight hostile intention, and yet, the pressure that burdening his shoulder felt like a mountain. Then the oppressive aura gone, just like that, it gone as soon as it appeared, like a light that blinking in darkness. He no longer feel the crushing aura on his shoulders, and his breath that hitched resumed to normal. Alright, point taken. Eren thought as he stared at the goddess with wary eyes, his fingers twitched. Truthfully, it was miracle for him who have high instinct to not lash out and call Excalibur in that instant when he felt that oppressive aura. The only reason he did not do that is because he can control himself. No, it was because his instinct at same time also shouting at him doing so would bring something bad to him. However, all those wariness vanished as his mind comprehend the entire tale that he have heard, from beginning to the end. The witches' power, or something that called the witch gene, is coming from outer space. They're barely sentient, more like some kind of program that grant power to those who compatible with their nature. How to know that is clearly from someone personality. Well, that would explain quite a lot actually. He recall all the witches and also the archbishops of Sin name. All of them actually related to stars or satellite, while that could be because Tepe simply loved constellation or things like that, but perhaps it also foreshadowing something. For some reason he can accept those things easily. The power of gluttony that capable to rewrite reality and the world is actually like marble phantasm, however it's somehow inscribed to reality as well, perhaps because the mana's influence it become like that. Then there also power of wrath that belonged to Minerva, her healing power that capable even regrowth limbs and organs with ease, but while she healing she also destroy part of the world somewhere else at same time. However, that is if the way system and law of alien here same with type moon world. Eren highly doubt that though, since Beatrice has claimed that magic resistance not supposed to work like his, not to mention the magic system is completely different as well. Well, they're alien, you can't explain about them properly. They're mystery given form after all. Eren thought with frown internally. In any universe in any world, alien is always regarded as mystery, in DC, Marvel, or such thing. Every time they appear they always bring mystery and unknown, so. No, that was not what he should focus to. Right now he have another things that need to be answered. Do you know why the Witch of Envy left her mark on me? He asked. That's also one of the biggest mystery in Re-Zero world. Why Subaru Chusen in first place? Why him? Why Satella in love with him? The reason perhaps is different since he now in alternate universe instead canon one, but it doesn't matter, he want to know what happened to him after all, not Subaru. She is in love with you. No shit. Eren put the expression after hearing the obvious answer, that was something he already know. How? I mean, I never meet her in first place, heck, I barely know she exists. Because you two had met in past. What? That answer is shocking him beyond anything he ever faced. He had met Satella in past. What is the meaning of that? How he met her in first place? They were not from the same world. Not only world but a universe. He is not from Subaru's world, he is literally come from different dimension. Not to mention Satella lived in 400 years ago. So how? What are you saying? Eren asked again, he started to sound frustrated, how's that even possible? Explain it to me. I cannot answer that question. And why you cannot? Eren shoot her glare while clenching his teeth, cannot or don't want. Both. Eren really want to pull his hair after hearing that statement. The first thing he about to do was to grab this entity and shake her like a rag doll, however his instinct practically stopping him from doing that since it would be very stupid and unwise, the being that stand before him is a goddess after all. I have to go now. My time in here is limited. Wait. Eren yelled at her, instantly stand from where he is, I still have many things to ask. I cannot answer all your questions. Do remember that I don't want you to leave from here. The goddess's word make Eren paused and he can't help but grimace at the grim reality. This being. She is not on his side, the moment she declare that she don't want him to leave she become his enemy. Oh root be damned, he is screwed isn't he? Like, really screwed. The one that stood on his path is not normal being by any mean, but it is goddess, a deity. Even if he have power of servant, but compared to gods, heroic spirit is still second rate. Only few that capable to be fight on par with gods on equal term, and unfortunately for him King Arthur is not one of them. However, at same time I also not going to stop you from trying to find a way back if you want. That declaration brought Aaron out from his inner despair, his eyes widened slightly and he stared at the goddess with wariness. What do you mean by that? The goddess stared back at him, as always her facial feature remained unchanged. Truthfully, I don't want you to be here. I do love that sword of yours, but only it, not you. Like I said, your presence in here is necessary, not wanted. I feel so loved, thank you. The feeling is mutual though. Aaron dryly thought as he stared at the goddess with distrust, and how can I trust you to leave me alone on my research to find way to go home? You can't. Now Aaron started to see why Gilgamesh hate gods and goddess. From her attitude to behavior, while she didn't show blatant animosity to him, but it was clear that this being did not take him very seriously. All his questions mostly brushed aside and answered as if they're not important for her. Aaron about to make comment about her response, however her words once again started to set gear in his mind as he recalled what she said moment ago. Wait, you said moment ago my presence is needed to keep other at the bay. He said, eyes widened in realization and he feel their ice dropped on his gut. Is that mean? You finally caught on that? Yes, they're other around this world, just like you, they all possessing power that unnatural and not belong to this world like their predecessor the witches of sin. And with that dread began to spread over his whole body. They're other. They're other. They're other. Those two words keep repeated in his mind for many times, and each time it did it bring sense of terror and horror to him. Calm yourself, Aaron Wilson, they're not like you very much, of course. Fortunately, before his minds began to delve further into dark thought, those words come out from the goddess' mouth. What do you mean? He asked. You making assumption that the other is exactly like you, in reality they're not. You are an exception. Like what I told you about the witches, they were powers, not living being. Same thing occurs as well in this time. Like the monster that you face, it was summoned by witch cult instead of whatever reside inside it. That. Aaron doesn't know what to say. It was really relieving to hear that. He was really afraid he going to face servant. If that happened, then his chance to win is very close to zero. His skill, while can be called adequate, but compared to those who has reached throne of heroes on their own, is still pale. He might be able to face against them directly and fight on equal level, but mostly it will be defensive battle for him. Wait, that still not change the fact that it was good thing. I'm still not out from danger here. Cthulhu appearance is example of this. The artifact was on the wrong hand and thus it become out of control. How many? He asked. I do not know. What? How can you doesn't know? I do not know about that too. It was confusing for me just like you. However, I also have something that can be considered as bad news. Apparently these artifacts also work like their predecessor, some compatible and some not. If it not, then the result is same, but to those who vary. Compatible, it seems the artifact gained some self-aware and started to collaborate with their host. There are few of them already roaming around in last month. Great. Great. Motherfucking great. Just great. Of course he should see that coming. In the end he do have to face servants. While it was good news not all of those artifact become servant, but it doesn't change the fact that the result pretty much same to his worst feeling, he have to face heroic spirit. However, I do note that they are not as strong as you for some reason. You're more powerful than them as far I observe. Huh? What? He is more powerful. What does she mean by that? Moreover, now he started to calm down, he able to notice few things that amiss between her words. You seems unsure to everything you just said. He pointed, eyes narrowed in analyzing manner. You are correct in that part. These power is new after all, and I don't know much about them. There's still many things that has yet I able to unveil. Alright. Alright. Not need to enter panic mode in instant. Be calm, think about this through. That was what kind of thought Aaron had after he heard the goddess's words. Despite he really tempted to start running in circle while screaming, but he forced himself to stay down and keep thinking rationally. They're artifacts, and if we goes by Prelati's spellbook, then it's safe to say those artifacts in reality is noble phantasm or something that represents servant. Aaron thought as he put the information he received one by one. However, it was clear that she said he is stronger than the other, which mean their bodies probably limited in certain way. They're not servant after all, but perhaps they would be like Sieg from Fate Apocrypha, who able to become Siegfried for a moment. It doesn't change things still bad, however it does sounds a lot better than what he thought originally. Of course this all is still only a theory that unproved, but overall that's the only thing he can think about. You need me to keep others at bay, right? To prevent second coming Satella, like what happened 500 years ago. Or was it 400? If Eren recalls, Satella's rampage was 400 instead of 5, so perhaps 100 before it happened the witch gene landed on Cosmos for the first time. That is correct. What if I destroy all the other artifacts and give it back to you? Will you help me to go home? The goddess tilt her head once more, a bit to the side, her brown eyes, that peering over him seems judging his statement and resolve. I will consider it. I want, yes, or, no, not, consider, I need answer that gives some assurance. Eren quickly retorted, he not going to fall to, considering, word or cliché line like that. I will give you the clean answer when the time come. And when that going to happen? When that time come? Depend on the situation. Another short and vague answer. Eren certainly don't like this conversation. The only clear answer he got is how witches' power come to this world and that there is other noble phantasm wielder out there roaming around the world right now. Everything else that related to him, Satella, and how he goes back is answered with cryptic and unclear response. She really don't want him to go home, isn't she? Then the goddess shifted from her position, she tilt her head and stare at the window behind him. I have to leave now. There is something else I must do. We shall meet again in future, Eren Wilson. Wait, I still have dash. What I give to you already more than enough, while I'm grateful that you has saved this world, but you did it for your own sake, something that other human would do nonetheless. Eren shut his mouth and grit his teeth, his fist clenched in irritation. He won't deny that statement, it was the truth after all, however the way the goddess said it, as if he is some kind of man who doesn't care about anything to his surrounding. I will tell you this though as gratitude, when you unleash that sword power, there are others who felt it too. Eren's breath seems froze for a moment as those words registered to his brain, oh others. He repeated. Two of them as matter of fact already make their move to Lugnica, however they did not know about you before, they wish to come to Lugnica because their own interest. However obviously after you unleash your real power they do become aware that there's someone that's similar like them in Lugnica now. And those two are wielders who has total cooperation with their artifacts. Motherfucker. Eren cursed in his head. Is this really happening? Really? Really? He just get out from one thing and now another already waiting for him. And this time it not just one but two. Two. You not need to worry though, those two are not going to be hostile to you as long you don't give them reason to. I can't say to others that might be coming though. Tell me about them. Eren demanded, and also how many you can detect. There are at least 5 alien roaming around Cosmos right now. Eren's right eye about to twitch when heard the goddess said alien word. For some reason it doesn't seem fit her tone, and the idea of him got called alien as well clearly doesn't suit well with him. As for about them, I cannot tell you anything. Eren let out groan, apparently he already reached his limit to hide his frustration and he massaged his temple, how is that could even happen in first place? He asked in exasperated voice, you are goddess right? How can you unable to describe them to me? The air around him seems vibrate for a moment, the mana that exists in there also flickering. The pseudo-saber narrowed his eyes at the goddess, what was that? Was that sign of her irritation? Believe me I do also found it to be infuriating as well that my sight to them is blocked. Make no mistake I can force my will to know more about them however it will be not without consequence. Able to block even sight of goddess? How could it be? It was impossible. Is it one of the servants' noble phantasm that like Lancelot's for someone glory or Mordred's helmet? Perhaps but he have feeling it not that simple there's something else playing behind the scene, he is sure of that. Or is it possible that this Gaia is really that weaker than Naciverse? No, he doubt that. While true maybe this Gaia not as strong as Naciverse but Eren's certainly sure she still can butcher any of those who try to oppose her in battle, his instinct that screaming at him moment ago support that. Another factor then. But what is it? I can tell you at least one of them. It was a woman with golden hair that like yours, however before I can depict any further of her image she become blocked as well. Eren's eyes narrowed, and then once again his brain seemed stop working, it did that a lot during this conversation for some reason, as he recall what kind of servant who have that kind of characteristic. Mordred Pendragon. How is that? How is that? King Arthur. Your country ends here. It's finished. Regardless of who wins, everything is already in ruins. You should have known this would have happened. You should have known it would end up like this. If you had just turned over the throne to me, it wouldn't have turned out like this. Do you hate me? Do you hate me that much? Did you hate me for being Morgan's son? Answer me, Arthur. In my whole life before this, I have never once hated you, Mordred. The reason I did not hand the throne over to you is not because of you being son of Morgan. No, why I did that is because you did not have the capacity to be a king. Memory of the last battle between father and son crossed inside his mind, and somehow there deep bitterness and regret inside him when he recalled that scene. He don't know why he felt such things, it was not his battle after all, and yet it not just there. To be honest, every single time he have dream of Arthur's memory, Aaron always feeling sad and regret when he woke up. No, it's more like he felt various emotions. From sad, anger, disgust, fear and joy, all of them appear numerous times. From the moment when Arthur pulled Caliban from the stone and until he fell from Mordred's final attack in Camlan. It was strange experience for him, to be honest. He is not King Arthur, he is Aaron Wilson, no matter how he put the mask of king in front of others and how they saw him, but it will never change the fact that he is not Arthur and not a king, he is not even a noble. He is only average university student that wished for nothing but peaceful life and reunited with his family. And yet, when he saw all those dreams and memories, perhaps he was sympathizing Arthur, of what happened to him. It was so easy to shrug things off and say, it was sad, when he watching everything from TV, from monitor, from the screen. But now he experienced them directly. He stand on that movie side and watching everything directly from his own eyes. Everything was so different. It doesn't matter for now, what more important is does Mordred in here. If that true, then things clearly going to be very problematic for him. He have no doubt, even if it only fragment, that the Knight of Treachery still going to harbor hatred for him, and if that person arrive in Lugnica, then. Are you done spacing out, Aaron Wilson? Do you have another question? I have to leave soon. The call from the goddess broke Aaron out from his thought and inner feeling. He snapped his eyes up to see the being face, and as always there is no emotion in those brown and hard-like eyes, only hollowness and emptiness lay in there. When they going to arrive? He asked. I don't know, like I said they do plan to come to Lugnica, however it could change for all I know. The goddess hovering back slightly from him, her beautiful figure slowly become more transparent, it as if she started to become invisible. Farewell, Aaron Wilson, we shall talk again in another time. Hopefully you going to answer all my questions with clear at our third meeting. Aaron deadpanned at her, and also please don't refer us as alien, you can use extraterrestrial instead. That was a lot better than alien, seriously, he don't have any intention to be called alien, it really weird. I will consider it, alien. You did that on purpose, aren't you? He yelled at her instantly, don't call us alien, it a bit degrading and strange. Us or just you? Just me please. He said shamelessly. The goddess stare at him, face have no emotion and specific expression as always. Her bottom to upper body already gone and now her face also slowly become invisible. One more warning, there another one that coming to Lugnica, this one is far beyond the other two who would come. Wait, what? However the goddess already gone before that question asked, leaving Aaron who had wide eyes alone. The pseudo-saber stare at where the deity moment ago, his left eye and fingers twitching repeatedly. Then he throw his head to above. Such important thing. You should say that in beginning, you damn goddess. Oh, make 2 # another 0. Part 2. Kiritsugu Amiya certainly doesn't have a good days, not at all. After they got back to Einsburn's castle, they immediately questioning old man act about his servant, Saber, with intent to find out just how could it be him they got instead of the normal Saber. And they also don't have answer of that apparently. While they do have some record of extra class, but it only about ruler and avenger, even then those two also can be said as defect product, one that untested and their nature is also mystery to them. Of course it doesn't mean they will stay silent, no, for the Holy Grail War, Einsburn family will not do nothing and let this thing to make them fail from getting Grail, right now they already start looking about things that related to Saber class. That actually not what make Kiritsugu's mood to be bad. To be honest, while it was vexing that he will work with a regular servant, he had done that with some people in past after all, as partner, but what made him upset the most is said the servant behavior. Master, no, Kiritsugu Amiya, I already know what kind of person are you, and let me make it clear that I do not have any wish upon that cup. It was only simple statement, he only told him that he don't have grail and knew what kind of man he is. It should be nothing more than that. But Kiritsugu knew the hidden message. I do not need you, but you need me for this war, so please do not test my patience. It was a threat. Saber has no wish and so he doesn't need him, he can go back to die and it won't matter for him. However, for Kiritsugu who have wish that only can be achieved through miracle of Holy Grail, he will need Saber's strength in order to win and get what he want, and if you want to win then it better to fully cooperate and share some of his idea with him. Kiritsugu admit that he is not the most socializing and kindest person. The moment they finished he dismissing Saber and act like he wasn't there, however such thing actually shouldn't elicit annoyance from Saber as Kiritsugu aware that Saber seems doesn't mind of his action. No, Saber did not dislike it that he was ignored, but it seems he was quite angry that if something would be done without asking for his confirmation. And that was annoy him quite much. Not to mention there's so many things that unknown about him. His parameter while wasn't bad but one things truly bother him. It was skill that called Beloved of the Witch of Envy. What the hell was that? Beloved of the Witch? The only witch that the know related to Arthurian legend is Morgan, and it was clear in legend she was depicted as his worst enemy, his nemesis. So how the hell he can become her beloved? Well, there is legend that stated they both reconcile in the end after their reunion in Avalon. Kiritsugu thought as he read over the data that he gathered to know more about his servant. Working with someone that unknown and mystery is not stranger for the Magus killer. However, it can be quite irritating since that mean he can't predict their movement, and it was something that Kiritsugu hate the most. He is not extraordinary Magus, he aware of that. The only reason he managed to survive until now is due to Magus literally stupid enough to not intend to use modern technology. Heck, they barely even know how to use telephone. Seriously, how the Magus family that send their children to school in current era able to made those children not look backward in front of other. Well, what done is done. No use crying over spilled milk. Kiritsugu said internally sigh as he think over his predicament. So Saber want to work with him? Fine, let's see how that man handle his method. Then again, perhaps his servant already knew or at least have some suspicion about it. Kiritsugu remembered once again of his servant's words, and it made the Magus killer realize that Saber seems to be very sharp person to be able to see through him so easily like that. Maybe working with him won't be that bad. It was at that time his phone started to ringing and he pulled it out. He noticed that it was Irisville who called him. Hello Iri, are you already arrived in Fuyuki? He asked. Yes, I already did. His wife answered. The Magus killer noted there's something strange in her voice and his eyes narrowed slightly. Saber is with her, so what is wrong? Iri. Is there something wrong? Was it enemy attack? This soon? Who making move in airport and in middle of day like this? Kiritsugu. Her voice was now clear expressing trouble, there's also nervousness in there. What is it Iri? He asked again patiently. Ilya is with me. The Magus killer's cigarette slipped from his mouth. What? Ilya is with me now, she is in airport with me. Irisville repeated, her voice sounded timid as she saying that. Ilya is in there. Kiritsugu was yelling at this point, obviously shocked finding his daughter that's supposed to be in Germany was in Japan with them. What do you mean by that? Iri, how can that happen? How, huh? The homunculus actually also doesn't know how the hell it could happen, to be honest. During their travel in plane, Ilya was actually not with them, she was only with Saber, and Irisville must admit that the man is pleasant company. He did not mind her talk and also conversing back to her, they were talking about various things. Such as foods that taste good, and he also teach her how to use her phone, he also download some game for her to play and she must say she enjoy it a lot. After they arrive in Fuyuki and step outside from airport, Saber told her to wait for a moment because he have surprise for her. And great root, what a surprise it was. The servant returned with Ilya on his back and waving at her with big grin. Irisville was sure she almost fainted in spot when she caught sight of her daughter. Said now her daughter was sitting on her husband's servant's shoulder, waving her hands exuberantly while glancing around with big grin and having conversation with him. So this is where Kiritsugu born. Ilya remarked with excited look, only for a moment before she start to fan herself, it's hot. Well, the climate in here is different from Germany, so of course it's hot. Saber replied with amused smile, though it is better, right? It always cold in there. Yeah, you're right. And everything is filled with snow. Ilya said with huff, I like snow, but I started to getting bored seeing them. She commented, how about you, Eren? Me? Well, I guess I don't dislike snow, I kinda like them as well, but like you said, if one look at it too much then it will get bored. Eren. That was what Saber told them to call him if they want to be informal, not King Arthur as he is supposed to be. I'm not King Arthur, like I said, I'm supposed to be reincarnation of him, while it's true that I hold King Arthur's soul, but I'm not him. If you want to know my name then you can call me Eren though, that name for some reason sticking out from my head. That was what he said to them. IRI, give the phone to Saber. Now. Irisville not stupid, judging by his voice it was clear that Kiritsugu is mad, no, scratch that, he was furious. Save, Eren. Irisville corrected herself an instant, calling someone with name of Saver certainly will attract attention and also strange. Besides there is no downside in calling him that, no one will know Saver real identity through that after all. Yes IRI. Saver asked as he turned to her, he walked toward her with Ilya on top of him. Kiritsugu want to talk. Irisville said as she extended her phone. Only for it to be snatched by Ilya. Hello. Hello. Kiritsugu, are you in there? You in there? Ilya asked excitedly, she seems quite eager to see cell phone, probably her first time talk through one. Ilya? You are really in there. Kiritsugu's voice was filled with dread for obvious reason, listen Ilya, we will talk later, now can you hand the phone to Dash? You going to scold Eren right? Ilya cut him with cute pout, no. You cannot do that. Kiritsugu you can't be mad at Eren. Ilya, look, things is Dash. It's my fault. I'm the one who said I wish I can go with you and Eren only helping me. You can't scold him. I forbid you to do that. But Dash. No, means no. If you want to be angry, angry at me. You lose against me in game before, and as winning prize I want to be not scolded. Ilya, this is serious you Dash. No. Don't wanna hear. Don't wanna hear. Ilya, it's fine. Saver cut the girl, he was smiling in obvious amusement, his eyes twinkling in jovial light. He briefly noted that Irisville also holding hand over her mouth, trying to stop her laughter or at least hide her smile, let me talk with your father, meanwhile why don't you spend time with your mother for a moment? Ilya stared down at the man that has helped her to follow her parent. Then she give her solemn, very cute, look, if daddy mad at you, you tell me okay? Saver pretty sure he heard Irisville's snort and he, himself barely able to refrain himself to let out one, he returned the girl's solemn look with his own, promise. Okay. With that Saver lifted the short girl from top of his head and give her to Irisville, he took the phone and then began to distancing himself from the mother and daughter but not far enough to out from his view. Hello master. How your talk with your daughter? Saver asked. Saver. You. Don't you know what have you done? Saving your daughter from becoming the next Grail vessel. Saver answered nonchalantly. He heard sharp intake of breath from Kiritsugu's through the phone afterward. What? You think I do not notice it? I do have ears and eyes master. Some of staff in castle talk about how the Grail vessel's daughter or things like that, and it not hard to put things together. Saver continued in uncaring manner. Kiritsugu was silent after hearing that, he keep quiet for almost half minute before answering, while what you done is kind and have good intention but you do not understand. The Einsburn won't accept this. The moment they found out Ilya is out of their hands then dash. They will do nothing. Saver cut him firmly, right now they will do nothing. After Grail War perhaps they will, but now? What they going to do? Send army of homunculus to retrieve her. We already in Fuyuki, such thing will only attract attention from other masters and also risking the existence of moonlit world. He said with snort, no, they can't do anything right now, they already lose this round the moment I manage to sneak Ilya to the plane with us. And they will lose completely after he finished with this war. None Einsburn shall survive after he done, he will use Excalibur if necessary to blast the hell out of that castle. Doesn't change the fact what you did is a foolish move. Kiritsugu continued, his voice no longer heated as moment ago though, Ilya will be in danger in here. You not need to worry for that, I have a plan master, and before you protest, tell me, do you doubt me after I managed to kick the whole Einsburn in crotch and suffer no consequence? The Magus killer become quiet once again for few seconds after that. Then he asked what most people often ask to Saver. Are you really a knight? He asked in bewilderment, are you really King Arthur? His behavior was indeed seems noble and honorable, however it was really very close to crossing over the line. It's more like he working with some kind of mercenary than knight. I'm not King Arthur, I believe I already told you that. Savor answered with amusement in his voice. In any case, right now our priority is to ensure Ilya's safety. You're right. Go to the castle at Forest in outskirt of city, deliver Ilya's safety to there. While that was very good move, but I believe it would be better to let Ilya and your wife wandering around the city for an hour or two first. Savor suggested, I know it is dangerous and risky, however this is barely past 12 noon, we still have 6 to 7 hours before sunset, that was quite a lot of time. Let both of them enjoy their times outside of Germany together. Fine. 3 hours, you got that amount of time, I want you already in castle at 5 o'clock this afternoon. I swear to you no harm shall come to them as long I exist. We will talk more about this later. With yacht the connection between them cut off. The servant of salvation stare at the device with small smirk and shake his head before turn back to Irisveal and Ilya who seems enjoying their times together. He walked to them and called their names, Ilya, come on, we have to leave now. Where we going Aaron? Ilya asked happily. Anywhere you want. Aaron smiled. Huh. Irisveal blinked while Ilya let out squeal of glee, we not going to castle immediately. Nope, we going to enjoy this short free time. I already talked with Kiritsugu about it so don't worry, as long as we back before 5 then it will be fine. I also going to protect you too. If the worst is come then he will install that class without hesitation. There is no way he going to let Irisveal and Ilya be harmed when they under his supervision. The hesitation in Irisveal's eyes gone completely when he mentioned Kiritsugu name, her red eyes beaming with radiant and make Savor smile. Well, she does seem so excited when she about to looking around in movie and light novel so. Now, I have this thing. He pull out map of Fuyuki that he pick out from the airport that intended to be given to tourist moment ago, why don't we see where we should go? They might as well enjoy their time while they can right now. He already done his own preparation and even store some mystic code that would be useful, but knowing his luck he sure things will become bad soon. Hopefully in this first night nothing would go wrong. Oh who is he talking about, he sure as hell it will go wrong. Meanwhile hidden in shadow on corner part of Fuyuki City, a single silhouette with pair of glowing eerie eyes stiffened as they felt someone just enter the city, someone that very familiar. Their lips then curled, spread into wide grin as they recognize who's coming and their body quivered in delight. Beloved. You come for me. Shivering in pleasure and pure ecstasy, the being feel her stomach twisted in joy. A sickened crunch echoed behind them, followed by sound of thud as body fell to the ground. The body was barely recognizable, the only thing that not painted by red blood about him is his purple outfit and part of his reddish-brown hair. The being did not care about it though, they already have no use over it anymore, and now that their beloved has come for them. They only have one purpose in this so-called war. With that, the Witch of Envy and Satella started to walk, intent to rejoin with their beloved. Hashtag data sheet hashtag. Identity, Aaron Wilson / Pendragon. Master, Kiritsugu Amiya. Alignment, True Neutral. Class, Savor. Height, 177 cm. Weight, 80 kilograms. Strength, B+. Endurance, B. Agility, B. Mana, A+++. Luck, E. N, Phantasm, C, EX. Hashtag class skills hashtag magic resistance, A, riding, B, counter hero, D. A skill that belonged to Savor class servant. This skill reduces the parameters of the statistics of heroes that the servant faces in combat. This made whoever face Savor in combat has their highest parameter statistics to be degraded 1 level, however it only work for 2 minutes and only can be used against each individual once per day. Hashtag personal skills hashtag charisma, A. Raised due to summoned as Savor class instinct, A. Mana burst, A. Beloved of the Witch of Envy, EX. This is actually more like a curse than blessing for Savor. This skill made Savor to be loved by Satella and Witch of Envy or those who related to them as they see him as the husband of the witch. Hashtag noble phantasms hashtag Excalibur, the sword of promised victory * type, anti-fortress. Rank, A++ * invisible air, bounded field of the Wind King / strike air, hammer of the Wind King * type, anti-unit / anti-army. Rank, C * return by death, blessing and curse of Satella and the Witch of the Envy * type, anti-unit. Support. Rank, B **. Ability to return from death. To put it simply, it acts like a game save file, but the save point is decided by the curse in a random manner. Whenever Aaron Wilson/Pendragon dies, he will return to the checkpoint that was designed. However, due to outside of the witch's domain and outside of Re-0verse, it level decreased greatly. So instead of rewinding time, Saver simply going to back to the last checkpoint. For example, he was killed in battle at Fuyuki and his checkpoint is on the German. There he will be respawned, and he also not gone back to past, rather the time keep continue like normal. And the numbers of the times he can return from death also limited only to 7 as a symbol of the 7 witches of sin. And this curse also degrade his luck by 1 parameter. Servant Compendium, the Book of Grail War * type, support. Rank, EX *. This is book that contain every servants that Aaron Wilson/Pendragon has gained during his life. Ranging from Saber, Lancer, Archer and other class of servants that available in his collection. This allows Saber to change his class and utilize their skills and Noble Phantasm. What make it quite special is that this Noble Phantasm is hidden from his master completely, making them unaware of its existence. It because this book represent mystery about Aaron Wilson/Pendragon that unsolved and never clear. Only him who can understand this book, and other merely can catch glimpse of it or make several guess, but no one ever able to decipher them unless Aaron Wilson/Pendragon decide to tell them personally. This Noble Phantasm only available to Aaron Wilson/Pendragon if he summoned as a regular class. If he summoned as one of 7 main class, then it won't available. Magical Cell Phone, Samsung Galaxy S6 Special Edition. Asterisk type, support. Rank, E-**. It is his cell phone, however it more durable and sturdy than your normal Samsung Galaxy S6. It can be thrown from 10-story house and it still will be without scratch. It have good quality camera and music player. And it battery also charged through sunlight. And like Servant Compendium, this cell phone also represent mystery about Saber, and thus this also invisible to his master. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.